The first thing to remember, if you haven't already, is that cold weather trout fishing has some unique obstacles, not the least of which is that it may be pretty uncomfortable. Aside from being uncomfortable, cold weather trout fishing usually means tougher fishing. When the temperature drops, so do the temperature of the water, and as the temperature of the water reduces, so does the temperature of the trout. As the temperature drops, trout's metabolism slows, causing them to feed less. Obviously, trout are more difficult to catch when they are not feeding as much. In cooler weather and water temperatures, wonderful advice is to utilize the smallest bait possible. If you've ever ice fished, you're familiar with the importance of using small baits. The same is true for trout fishing in rivers and streams. In cold weather trout fishing, use the smallest hooks, baits, and lures you can get away with. This tip will assist you in getting more bites. The same holds true for any live bait you may be utilizing. Cold weather is ideal for using maggots and mealworms as trout bait, and if you prefer night crawlers, simply use smaller portions. In cold weather trout fishing, for example, a whole night crawler can be pinched into thirds or even quarters. When the weather and water temperature are chilly, it is critical to fish when the trout are most active. Certain times of the day and month are more active for fish than others, and knowing this information is especially beneficial when the weather is cold and the trout aren't as active anyway. These times of day and month correspond to the weather and moon phases. It's a good idea to plan your fishing expeditions around the weather and moon, especially in cold weather. The final piece of advice for cold weather trout fishing is to keep our hands as warm as possible when fishing. Not only do our hands need to be warm, but if you're anything like me, you also need to be able to utilize your fingers to fish correctly. This is when a good pair of fingerless gloves will come in handy. I can tell you from personal experience that being on the river and feeling like your hand is about to come off because it got wet while releasing a freezing cold trout is not fun.